So just hear me out on this. Prior to Jesus, Joshua, coming to me in a dream, telling me about all the seeds, I was already renewing my own personal covenant slash vow with the Most High. And there's a big discrepancy on, are they the same? And here's the thing, they are, but they aren't. When I was doing renewing my vows, revisiting my covenant with the Most High said, take all those videos that you have, that video that was on January 9th, where I recapped about 3 years worth of past life regressions and such with a very small group of women. Take that video, it explains the whole creation of Eshlahai, chop it up, put it out there on the TikTok. No further instruction given. He was going to sit there, and if it got 5 views, it got 5 views. If it got 5,000 views, it gets 5,000 views. Just put it out there. Okay. So then on the 13th, Jesus comes and says, I've given you all the seeds to rebuild my kingdom. Still didn't understand what that meant. He has not left. He will not leave. And he's louder than everybody else. So for people that know me, please understand every ancestor, at least I know in my little bloodline here, is important, a part of the whole. Go watch the videos. They're on YouTube and they're on TikTok about the creation of Eshlahai. There's two different ones. There's ones where I'm reading it out. I put it together. I'm just reading it. And then there's others where I'm talking and I'm using my own lingo a little bit here and there. Either way, in the very beginning of Eshlahai, which is an entire realm of creation with other realms inside, Eshlahai means, what does it mean? Flame to life. That's what it means. That's why it's a fiery throne. And I know from prior channelings with Sophia, who's very misunderstood as well. Essentially, right before Eshlahai was created, Sophia, the Elohim, she made it to Elohim status. She got to the eighth phase of her soul's evolution. She was a creator Elohim. That's why God's a jealous God. There is only one of the Most High, but all souls can become Elohim. In fact, that's the goal. I digress, not the point. Point is, she goes through all of her soul's evolution. She gets up to the eighth phase. She's an Elohim. She's a creator goddess, expressed femininely. She wants to create a realm. She wants to co-create a realm with the Most High, because that's what you're doing as an Elohim, technically. Maybe you can do other things, but I know what she wanted to do was she wanted to work directly with the Most High. Throughout this process, I'm thinking to myself, what's Thomas's story? Tomas's story? What's, like, if we understand Sophia, why don't we understand Tomas? Okay. This is Eshlahai. This is the entire realm. Okay. And up here, you have Adonai, the Most High. Okay. Eshlahai just means flame to life. It's Hebrew. So then you have Sophia, who has gone through her entire, there's all kinds of realms outside of this realm. Okay. What number this realm is, all that kind of stuff, I don't know. But there's other realms. Most High is always at the center. Most High is, it. But in order to create a realm, a fraction of the Most High has to make it all the way up to Elohim. So Sophia goes through the student portion. She goes through the eighth phase of her soul's evolution. She's a creator goddess. Okay. She wants to create a realm with the Most High. She wanted a counterpart in her realm. This is probably why she's feminine, a feminine aspect and all feminine, masculine stuff and whatnot. But she wanted a counterpart that was just like Most High. But the Most High cannot leave its fiery throne. Can't. But it can fraction itself. And we know that through the soul's journey of evolution. That's how a soul is created. So the Most High said, I'm going to give you Tomas. You have Tomas and you have Sophia. And together they have on Andromeda, they have Mora and Gadriel. So they go, they create Cassiopeia, they create, what's the other one? Pegasus. Okay. And then there's, what's the other one? Sirius. Okay. And then they create Arcturus. And then there's a whole thing. But Arcturus is the royal realm. It's royal. All right. Both Sophia and Thomas are here as well. Everybody is an Elohim within this portion of the creation of the realm. Shit goes sideways when Mora and Gadriel create their twin universe, Tiamat and Abzu. It becomes annihilated, but you got souls that have to be rescued in a sense. So Sophia creates Earth, or as they call it, Tova. Okay. And then Orion is over here. And there's something important about this that we'll get to later. And what else is made? Orion, we have Arcturus B, we have Sirius B, we have Lyria. What happens here with Tiamat and Abzu, the annihilation, and however that happened, it caused a big issue with Mora and Gadriel, because not only the souls that were evolving here in Tiamat and Abzu had to be cradled in a realm called Earth Tova to continue their journey, but Mora especially. All right, and this is where the 7th Pleiades come in. All right, but Gadriel didn't go there because Mama Sophia made this for Mora's redemption, recovery, and redemption. Gadriel comes over here and he creates Draconia with all these spontaneous realms of, how did they say it? Consciousless beings. Okay, and Thoth wants to claim that he's wisdom and all that other stuff and nonsense, whatever. But he made a pact with Gadriel, and then they wanted to come here, and they did come here, okay, to Tova, to get Mora out of the Pleiades, and part of that plan was the Nephilim. Again, this is why the Nephilim did, because you have basically a brother and a sister here over here falling in love. The Nephilim had a plan. The plan was to get Mora out, take over this with Mora and Gadriel, because they're two defiant children that think they know better, basically. That's basically what happened. I mean, those are my own words, but I'm summing it up. So you got the fallen, you got the Nephilim, you got the mixed seed, you got all this nonsense. Now, Thoth is no more. He does not exist. He went back to the totality. He does not exist in the same form, neither does Gadriel. But their entities, adversaries do. You cannot, if there's anything that's impossible, it's trying to one up the Most High. It's the only thing that is impossible. Can't do it. But they think they can. So then, Daddy Tomas over here, the expression of the Most High, decides to come down in the same Melchizedek fashion, okay, to over here to this bloodline we got going on over here, and starts giving orders. Starts giving orders to specific people with lessons all the time in the world as well, right? When Jesus and Magdalene were born, number one, they weren't born. This is probably going to make a lot of people upset. But please understand that in the temple, in the garden, there was no primal procreation. Look at what people understand extraterrestrial beings to be. They don't interact in that way. It's a very primal way. If you can believe the story that Adam was made and then Eve was made and the Most High just put the breath of life in them and then there they were, then believe that with Jesus and Magdalene. Believe that with Jesus and Magdalene, because that's what it was. Jesus and Magdalene were the expressions. Again, they're expressed here in Arcturus. They let their baby children run rampant in Tiamat and Abzu. When they descended, people talk about the Anunnaki. It's the same patriarchal bullshit as before. That's not what it is. It's misunderstood. They descended. Tomas and Sophia descended right around that time that people be talking about the Anunnaki and the Sumerians and all that other stuff. Okay. But then when the Nephilim did what they did and they descended, they went back up. They went back up to the chambers of the Most High. Later on, in this specific Melchizedek bloodline, they come back as Jesus and Magdalene. Jesus and Magdalene, most of what they say about Jesus is probably true. I'll get there later. But they had a family. They established a stronger bloodline because you cannot one up the Most High. And all of that was hidden for a long time. But most people kind of feel somewhere deep down in their souls that that bloodline lives. And it does. So when people talk about Jesus being the Most High or not the Most High, that's why they are, and that's why they're not.